President Trump shredded and embarrassed a reporter who asked him why he blames President Biden for all this stuff.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes, and it was disgraceful. And if you look, you'll see there was a law passed. It makes it almost impossible not to let them in, not to certify them, so to speak, once they come in. And they came in, and they shouldn't have come in. And frankly, the whole thing was a mess. The whole Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision, and we would have left from Bagram, and we would have kept Bagram, by the way, because of its very close relationship to China and where they make their missiles. But when you let the people come in by the thousands and thousands and thousands, they made a terrible mistake. But they were incompetent, yeah.
Yeah, they were incompetent, and what are you, stupid? It's President Donald Trump handling the reporters basically the way he does. And he was in rare form, but he was also very angry because just moments before that, he came in and he had to announce that Sarah Beckstrom, the 30-year-old West Virginia girl who was serving in the National Guard in Washington, D.C., had passed away as a result of that fatal shooting to the head by that Afghan citizen, or I'm sorry, by the Afghan national who was here in the United States.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. She's not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. That's horrible.
Yeah, and President Donald Trump, you can tell, visibly shaken, not at all happy with the outcome, and not at all happy with the fact that this guy who killed her was in the United States of America, which brings us back to how he got here. And President Donald Trump said, look, this is Biden's fault because Biden flew him here.
As you may know, DHS has confirmed that the suspect is an Afghan national flown here by the previous administration, who was such a bad administration. And I have a picture of a plane. This is what it looked like when they came in. It was total bedlam. Do you remember that period of time? Total bedlam. People crammed onto the plane. And the toughest, meanest, most capable physically got on the plane. Not the people that we were looking for or that they wanted to bring in. Here's a picture for you. Just take a look at that plane. Standing on top of each other and sitting on top of each other. This is what we had under the Biden administration. That whole thing should have never, ever happened. They should have left from a different base. They should have left from Bagram, as you know, and it would have been a much different story. But they didn't do that, and this was just a rout, just a terrible situation. This heinous atrocity reminds us that we have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control over the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. They come in illegally. They have a lot of problems. Their countries force them in because their countries are smart. They don't want them. Let's give them to the Americans to take care of. They come out of jails in many cases, mental institutions. They're gang members. They're drug dealers. We don't want them.
And neither do their home countries. And President Donald Trump now opening up a new round of immigration policy saying, look, not only are we not going to bring in people from countries that are bad, not only are we going to export the illegal immigrants and people that came here illegally and just crossed our border without our knowledge or without legal, without legal verification. No, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the people who did come here legally, who have been here for whatever status, whether it's refugee status or because they got some kind of temporary visa, and we're going to make sure they're up to snuff. And if they're not, we're going to send them back home because we don't want these bad people here committing these crimes and making America an unsafe place to live. He mentioned in his Truth Social post, he mentioned a lot of stuff. He mentioned the Afghan citizens who, and that guy who came in and shot the servicemen. He mentioned the cartels and the gangs. He mentioned the Somalians in Minnesota and how the Somalian population in Minnesota has exploded under Tampon Tim Walz. He used a very derogatory word to describe Tim Walz, probably not the first time. And President Donald Trump said, this is a problem. Well, one of the reporters was like, wait a minute, how does Somalia factor into this guy from Afghanistan who shot these troops? And President Donald Trump, I thought he was going to roll into another, are you stupid? But he gave a pretty common sense explanation.
What do the Somalians have to do with this Afghan guy who shot the national?
Nothing, but Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. That's about the only thing. You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution. And she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated, it's crime-ridden, it's a mess, it's a disgrace. And we took their people at a tremendous... We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people. And we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble.
Yeah, President Donald Trump calls it reverse migration, and it's something he talked about on a Truth Social post. He said, only reverse migration can cure this situation. He talks about how he's going to immediately pause migration from all third world countries to allow the United States to recover, terminate the millions of Biden illegal admissions. And of course, he's going to then look at every single non-citizen of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. This is where we are now moving from illegal immigrants to immigrants who are threats to our security. And we'll see, of course, like I said, I imagine there's going to be some lawsuits. There's always lawsuits. Whenever President Donald Trump does or says something, there's going to be a lawsuit. He's also moving forward with more troops to Washington, D.C.
Tonight, I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that.
Yeah. President Donald Trump is doubling down on his agenda. He told Americans when he ran for president the second time, he was going to make America safe again. He was going to get rid of illegal aliens. He was going to make sure that these criminal thug gang member cartel members, terrorists were out of this country. He was going to make sure that every single city, the blue cities, the red cities, wherever Americans roam, he was going to make sure that they were safe. He was going to use every asset and every agency and every ounce of power at his discretion to do so, including the National Guard. And when there's an attack on two National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C., a city that he said he's going to make safe again because it is the crown jewel of the entire world. It's the capital of the most important and the richest and the most powerful country ever known. It should be one of the safest places for anyone, American-born citizen or visitor or tourist, to live. And Donald Trump will make sure that it is, no matter what. He's not scared. He's not pulling back. In fact, he's going to send in more troops. And I imagine that if this kind of stuff continues, there'll be more troops sent to other cities all over the country to make sure that these kinds of folks aren't able to inflict the kind of pain and destruction and murder on American citizens as we saw, unfortunately, tragically, just before Thanksgiving with the killing of Sarah Beckstrom and the shooting of her compatriot from West Virginia.